Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. For this video, what we're going to be doing is a window restoration, and the subject that I'm going to be using for this is going to be the windshield out of the Ferrari Testarossa. I'm going to go through my step-by-step process of how I restored the window and the dart that we built back for the USAC build. I ended up getting some glue smudges on that windshield, and I was able to sand it down and go ahead and bring it back to life. And in my opinion, it ended up having a little bit better shine than the original window that came out of the package. So I'm going to take you through the materials that I use, my step-by-step process of how I restore windshields if they need it. And we're going to bring that back to life and bring it hopefully beyond what the original molding offered. Now, during this process, you're going to learn a few techniques that you can take to your table. This isn't, as some other modelers have pointed out, this isn't the way. This is just a way. This will get you started in hopefully the right direction of how you can restore your windows and bring your model builds up just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and move benches. I'm going to go get my materials out, and I'll be right back with you, and we'll begin the process. Okay, so we moved back out to the shed. You just watched me go through the sanding sponge grits right up to about 12,000. And we're still just a little bit cloudy on the edges of the windshield. The center's starting to clear up for us. We also used a paper towel and went ahead and used this Plastax by Meguiar's, which works really good. It works better with a microfiber, but what I'm trying to illustrate is what you can do if you don't have a microfiber or something like that readily available to work with. Most people do, but if you were kind of in a rush and you didn't really have one and you didn't want to stop down to the local hardware store or someplace and get one, um, you can do this with a paper towel. I could have gotten a lot further, but I also know that I have the rotary tool here, and we're going to probably be able to smooth this out and get this really high quality. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get the attachments hooked into it, and I'm also going to use the Meguiar's Ultimate Polish. It's a pre-polish and glaze, actually. So I'll get you over here, we'll get you set up, and we'll finish this video out with the rotary tool. I've saved you the hassle of watching me set up the rotary tool. So we've got the cone sponge on there. It's also the softest sponge in the group. I have a medium and a firm, which are in these right here. The green is medium and the blue is firm. And I've also thought maybe we'll finish out with the Meguiar's pre-glaze with this. It's sort of like a it's like a fibery buffing attachment. Get this shook up, and I'm going to go ahead and run the tool on its lowest setting, which is 500 RPMs, because we have a little bit of a crack in it right here. That's fine. If it does continue to break, we'll just glue it together in the assembly process. So the other thing that you're noticing that I'm doing is I'm not using gloves. And the reason I'm not using gloves is because I'm sanding and there's a bunch of grit and all sorts of other stuff going on here. So the goal isn't to keep my fingerprints off from it, because I really don't care about fingerprints at this step of the phase. Once I'm done, everything will be washed. And then when we assemble the car and paint it and do all the things that we're going to do to this car, we will worry about whether or not we're wearing gloves. Okay, so we've worked a little bit on the window with this attachment here, which I'm going to put back in this container because actually no, I've got to let it dry because I washed it out. So we'll sit it over here and let it dry. I've worked a little bit on, on the window with this. We've wiped it clean, and we're starting to get there. I think we're pretty good, except for right in the corners here. Now the difference with this windshield and then the Dart is the Dart was a flat windshield across the plane or just slightly curved. This has a hard curve that almost creates like a like a 90-degree angle here, especially with this bend right here. This is presenting a challenge that I hadn't factored in and hadn't accounted for. So with that said, I'm actually glad that I chose this particular windshield because it is a little bit tougher for me. I've done this technique once, and it worked out perfectly. Maybe what I'll do is I have recently unboxed. When did we unbox? I believe it was a Mustang that we've recently unboxed, and that had a little bit of a rough windshield. Let's see, what was the kit of the month? I don't remember, but I'll go back in my videos and look at it. But that had a little bit of a rough windshield as well. Maybe we'll work on that one as well, and we'll try to see what we can do. But for right now, we're going to keep moving forward with this one because we've started the project, and I feel like it'll benefit both my skills in terms of getting myself better at this technique, and also it may offer something to my viewers in terms of making your technique better or creating a technique if you don't have one. So stay with me. We're going to move right along to the Ultimate Car Polish pre-waxing glaze. And that'll complete out the steps that I have here, and I'll show you the finished product, obviously. We're going to put a little of this on the window. I've used some of this in my car as well, so it's kind of low. I'll put this down here, actually. Rub that around with the tool itself. Then we'll get it turned on, and I'll show you part of the process, and then I'll finish it out, and I'll show you the end product. Okay, so we're back. We have finished up the windshield. We're going to do the reveal in just a second. What I used was to finish up the windshield. Obviously, I've already mentioned it, but I'm going to go over the products again one more time. We started off with this after the 12,000 grit sanding sponge. Now, those sanding sponges I got off from Amazon. If I can leave a link for them, I will. Then I used the Plastex by Meguiar's. You probably see this says yellow up here. The only reason that says yellow up here is because when I do use this without my rotary tool, I have a yellow microfiber and a white microfiber. This indicates to me that that microfiber is assigned to this bottle. That's all that indicates, and that helps me keep things sorted out, and it helps me to get a better product and a better result at the end of everything. If you don't have a rotary tool and you have a microfiber cloth or a couple of microfiber cloths, you can achieve the same result that we've achieved right here today. And then I finished off with, obviously, the Meguiar's Ultimate Polish pre-glaze. I like to keep my rotary tool attachments separate. So this one, for my polishing of my paint and everything, always uses all of my soft attachments always go with the Plastex. This is a great product. I've been able to get good results from it, and I don't plan on changing anytime soon. And then these type of tool attachments always go with the pre-waxing glaze. Now, the tool that I use is by Bauer. I bought the 1.5 amp battery. It works just fine for me. If I'm trying to run it on the lowest setting, the lowest RPM, which is 500, it tends to bog down a little bit, but I'm just fine with that because I'm here for the art and for the process. And for me, if it bogs down a little bit and it takes me a little bit more time, that just allows me to learn more, and it allows me to slow down my process and think through things that maybe if I was rushing, I wouldn't be able to think through. Now we've been able to take this windshield up to a non-foggy finish, both inside and out. You saw me do the inside and out. One of the things that really helped me was I ran this attachment at a little bit higher RPM, and it caused it, so if your bristles sit like this normally, at the little bit higher RPM, it caused the bristles to come out. And when they came out a little bit like this and they started to flatten, I was able to get up into those curves of this windshield and really polish out that where it curves over and creates that 90, which you're looking at right here. I'll also take a photograph of this, and it'll be in the thumbnail. Well, you probably already noticed it was in the thumbnail. But I'm very happy with that result. You have just a tiny bit of haze, not a ton, but I think that came out way better than what we were working with before, with this being an old model. I mean, you can see my shirt right through here, and you can see all of the details there. It's working almost as if it's a magnifying glass. I think this windshield came out better than, I mean, obviously came out better than what we started with, and possibly it came out better than when it was fresh out of the mold. So now that we're at this phase with the windshield, when I put this model into production and we decide to build it, I'll wash it one more time. It's already been washed with Dawn dish soap and dried. I'll wash it one more time, and then you'll see me using my gloves for the build-up and assembly process. This has been a great project. I've had a lot of fun with it. I hope that you're able to use some of the techniques that I've displayed here and have fun with your own projects. It's your time frame and however it is that you want to do it. If you're going to use the exact technique that I did, you're going to want to put aside about a day for the process of doing this, because I've spent from roughly 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning off and on until it's about 5:30 in the afternoon or evening right now. So I've worked on this off and on throughout the day. It's not a fast process. You don't do a little bit of sanding and then do your polishing grits and it's done. It's part of the art process, and it's part of your enjoyment. As long as you're looking to enjoy the process and have the artistic display, you'll be just fine with that. You can achieve this, and you can probably achieve even a little bit better. But for the purposes of this video, this windshield has come up to the luster that I want. I'm very happy with it. I want to thank you if you followed along to the end. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of the process. Give me a thumbs up if you like the process. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate it if you do. I'm going to try to bring a higher amount of a higher end content to you moving forward. I've really started to dial in my video schedule and what I want to deliver as my product. And I would appreciate it if you haven't subscribed, give me a chance. It helps my channel, helps my family. And until we see each other again, everyone out there be safe, everyone be blessed, and thank you so much for watching.